Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the swamp. Today we are diving into the murky waters to talk about a creature that has mastered the art of doing absolutely nothing.
Right.
Until the moment it decides to ruin your entire day. We are talking about the crocodile, its most successful floating log impersonator, and the only animal that looks like a luxury handbag, but acts like a biological tank. If you have ever stood by a riverbank, pointed at a piece of driftwood, and felt a sudden chill down your spine because the wood just blinked at you, congratulations, you have met the landlord of the wetlands. But let's be honest, why are we so obsessed with them? Is it because they have a smile that says I'd love to have you for dinner? Or is it because they are essentially dinosaurs that were too stubborn to go extinct? While the T-Rex was busy staring at the falling meteor and panicking, the crocodile was just chilling in the mud, barely blinking, thinking, "This is fine. I'll just hold my breath for a few million years." And they did. These cold-blooded reptiles are the ultimate survivalists, living fossils that have hardly changed their design in over 200 million years. Why change perfection? If it isn't broke, don't fix it. If it bites hard enough to crush a car engine, definitely don't try to upgrade it. However, don't let their lazy demeanor fool you. You might see them sunbathing with their mouths wide open for hours, looking like they forgot to hit the pause button on their own lives, but that is all part of the trap. They are the original campers of the animal kingdom. They don't chase, they wait. They possess a level of patience that would make a monk jealous, and a level of explosive violence that would make an action movie director blush. They are the apex predators of the waterways, the kings of the ambush, and the reason why no swimming signs were invented. So, what makes this scaly beast tick? Is it just a mindless eating machine? Or is there a sophisticated biological superweapon hiding under that rugged exterior? Why is it that this short-legged, belly-dragging reptile commands fear and respect across the globe? Buckle up, keep your hands and feet inside the boat at all times, and let us unravel the secrets of the crocodile to find out why this grumpy giant is actually one of the most fascinating engineers of the ecosystem. To truly understand the crocodile, we have to hop into a time machine and go back about 200 million years, back when the Earth was ruled by giant lizards and the concept of safety did unexist. The ancestors of our modern crocodile were already swimming around. They are the ultimate survivalists, the cockroaches of the reptile world, but much bigger and with way more teeth. When that famous asteroid hit the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs, the crocodiles didn't panic. They simply sank to the bottom of the river, slowed their metabolism down to a near halt, and waited for the apocalypse to blow over. While the T-Rex was going extinct, the crocodile was essentially taking a really long nap. This incredible ability to survive on very little food is why they are still here today. It's looking almost exactly like their great-grandparents. Now, you might be wondering, is that a crocodile or an alligator? It is the most common question asked at the zoo, usually right before someone taps on the glass. Here's the cheat code to tell them apart without losing a hand. Look at the nose. An alligator has a broad, U-shaped snout, looking a bit like a shovel or a duck's bill. They're the ones saying see you later. A crocodile, on the other hand, has a narrower, V-shaped snout that comes to a point, resembling a pair of dangerous needle-nose pliers. Geographically, alligators are a bit like picky tourists. They mostly stick to the United States and China. Crocodiles are the true globetrotters, thriving in Africa, Australia, Asia, and the Americas. Some, like the saltwater crocodile, are equipped with special glands on their tongues that excrete excess salt, allowing them to swim out into the ocean. Yes, that means you aren't even safe in the open sea. Regardless of where they live, from murky swamps to brackish deltas. Their lifestyle is dictated by one major design flaw feature. Depending on how you look at it, they are ectothermic, which is the scientific way of saying they are cold-blooded. They cannot generate their own body heat like us mammals. This is why you see them hauling their massive bodies onto mud banks to bake in the sun. They aren't trying to get a tan. They are literally recharging their batteries. Think of a crocodile as a giant, scaly solar panel. When they are cold, they are sluggish and slow. But once they hit that optimal operating temperature, they transform into lightning-fast killing machines. And if you ever see one lying with its mouth wide open, don't worry, it's not laughing at a joke. It's just venting excess heat, exactly like a car radiator preventing the engine from overheating. Now, let's inspect the hardware. If Mother Nature decided to build a tank, she definitely started with the crocodile. This creature is a masterpiece of biological engineering, wrapped in a suit of armor that would make a medieval knight jealous. Their skin is not just tough leather. It is reinforced with osteoderms, which are literal bony plates embedded underneath the scales. Basically, a crocodile is walking around wearing a permanent bulletproof vest. This rugged exterior protects them from rivals, prey, and the occasional bad decision, making them one of the toughest animals on the planet. But the real genius lies in their stealth technology. Have you ever noticed how a crocodile's eyes, ears, and nostrils are all perfectly aligned on the very top of its head? This is not an accident. It is the original submarine design. It allows them to submerge their entire massive body underwater while keeping their sensors just above the surface. They function exactly like a living periscope. A 20-foot monster could be floating 3 feet away from you, and all you would see are 3 tiny bumps in the water that look like floating debris. By the time you realize that the log is staring at you, it is usually too late. Their vision is sharp, they have excellent night vision, and their ears are sensitive enough to hear the vibration of a gazelle sipping water from 50 yards away. Then, we get to the business end of the animal, the jaws. This is the weapon of mass destruction. The crocodile possesses the strongest bite force in the animal kingdom. A large saltwater crocodile can clamp down with a force of nearly 3,700 pounds per square inch. To put that in perspective, that is roughly equivalent to having a small truck dropped on your leg. Their jaws snap shut faster than you can blink, powered by massive muscles that act like a biological hydraulic press. They don't chew their food, they crush it. Bones, turtle shells, and nothing survives that bite. However, nature has a twisted sense of humor, because this ultimate killing machine has a humiliating weakness. While the muscles that close the jaw are strong enough to crush a car engine, the muscles that open the jaw are laughably weak. In fact, they are so pathetic that you could hold a large crocodile's mouth shut with just a rubber band or a strip of duct tape. It is the most embarrassing design flaw in history. Furthermore, let's talk about their smile. Those terrifying teeth are not designed for cutting. They are conical spikes meant for gripping. And since they tend to smash their teeth into hard bones, they lose them constantly. But don't worry about them booking a dentist appointment. They have an infinite dental plan, regenerating thousands of teeth throughout their lifetime, ensuring they never lose that winning smile. The crocodile operates on a very simple but effective philosophy: work smarter, not harder. While a cheetah might exhaust itself chasing down a gazelle across the savannah, the crocodile prefers the sit-and-wait approach. It is the ultimate guerrilla fighter of the animal kingdom. They will position themselves underwater near a popular drinking spot, motionless as a stone, sometimes for hours or even days. They memorize the schedules of their prey better than the prey do themselves. When an unsuspecting zebra comes down for a sip, the water explodes. In a fraction of a second, the crocodile launches itself with the force of a torpedo. It is not a chase. It is an abduction. Once they have clamped those terrifying jaws onto a victim, they face a logistical problem. They cannot chew. Their teeth are designed to hold on, not to slice or grind. So how do you eat a large meal without a knife and fork? Enter the death roll. This is the crocodile's signature move, a brutal ballet of physics. By biting onto a limb and tucking its own legs against its body, the crocodile spins rapidly in the water, generating immense torque. Imagine a washing machine's spin cycle set to destroy. This rotational force tears off manageable chunks of meat that they can swallow whole. It is violent, it is messy, and it is brutally effective. But before you label them as mindless villains, you should know that the crocodile is actually the hardworking janitor of the wetlands. They have the most acidic stomach in the vertebrate world, acting like a biological pressure cooker. They can digest bones, hooves, horns, and even turtle shells. This allows them to eat carrion and rotting carcasses that would otherwise poison the water supply, keeping the river system clean for everyone else. They are essentially the waste management crew of the swamp. Furthermore, they are what scientists call a keystone species. In the dry season, when water levels drop, crocodiles use their powerful tails and snouts to dig deep depressions in the riverbed, known as alligator holes. These holes retain water long after the rest of the river has dried up. They become oases that save the lives of fish, turtles, and birds who would otherwise perish in the drought. Sure, the crocodile might eat a few of the guests staying at his hotel, but without him, there would be no hotel at all. They regulate the population of predatory fish, keep the waterways open, and ensure the balance of the entire ecosystem. They are the landlords of the marsh, and although the rent is high, the tenants need them to survive. Now, you might assume that a creature this grumpy has a terrible dating life, but the crocodile is actually quite the romantic, in a prehistoric heavy metal sort of way. When it is time to find a partner, the male crocodile puts on a show that rivals any modern rock concert. He doesn't buy flowers. Instead, he inhales deeply and submerges his torso to produce low-frequency infrasounds vibrations. So deep that humans can barely hear them, but they cause the water around his back to literally dance and fizz like a jacuzzi. He also blows bubbles and slaps his head against the water. Essentially, if you see a giant reptile blowing bubbles and vibrating like a broken washing machine, he isn't having a seizure. He is flirting. Surprisingly, it works. Once the romance is over, the female reveals a softer side to this armored tank. She is one of the most dedicated mothers in the reptile world. But here's the wildest fact about crocodile parenting. She doesn't decide if she is having a boy or a girl. The weather does. In a phenomenon known as temperature-dependent sex determination, the gender of the babies is decided by the heat of the nest. If it is too hot or too cold, you get females. If the temperature is just right in the middle, you get males. It is nature's strangest gender reveal party, and absolutely no balloons are involved. When the eggs hatch, the mother gently gathers the tiny, chirping babies into her terrifying jaws, the same jaws that crush turtle shells and carries them to the water like a biological school bus. It is a moment of tenderness that proves even monsters have a heart. However, despite surviving asteroids, ice ages, and continental shifts, the crocodile now faces a predator it cannot bite in half. U.S. For decades, these majestic creatures have been hunted not because they are dangerous, but because they look good as a pair of shoes. Habitat loss and the demand for luxury leather goods have threatened many species. It is a cruel irony that the only animal capable of eating a dinosaur is terrified of becoming a handbag. We need to remember that a world without crocodiles is a world out of balance. They are the guardians of the waterways, the keepers of the past, and the only link we have left to the age of dragons. So, the next time you see a crocodile, whether it is in a zoo or on a nature documentary, show some respect. Don't see them as just mindless killers or potential accessories. See them for what they truly are. The ultimate survivors, the kings of the ambush, and the undisputed gangsters of the swamp. Okay, admire their power, respect their space, and please, for the sake of evolution, keep your hands inside the boat. Because while the crocodile might smile at you, he is definitely not waiting for a selfie.